Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm joined by Roger from Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy to introduce you to another one of the judges for the Sir Coates Painting Masters, which will be held this year at the UK Games Expo. So it's great to have you with us here today.
Thank you for having me.
So before we get into the painting competition itself, do you want to tell people a bit about yourself and the background within the hobby then?
Yeah. I'm the co-owner of the Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy. Been doing it with Duncan for 5 years. I've been working in this industry since the year 2001. So I worked at Games Workshop for 19 years. Set up their part of the team that set up the TV studio way back in about 2010. Small team. So we used to do their advertising and stuff like that. And then did all the painting videos with Duncan. That's how I met him. Became firm friends, and then maybe about 2019, 9 years later, we decided to embark on an adventure. Started the RPA, and it's been going great ever since. And then part of that, we decided to do a painting contest, which is Sir Coates Masters.
Yeah, and you've already had two
Yes.
Competitions within the Painting Masters.
Oh, yeah.
What was that like? Because the first one was at the London Grand Tournament, which is
Yes.
a monumentally received competition. So bringing a painting competition to what is primarily a tournament for gamers and cheesy gamers often. How did that go? Did you get much of a blend between the high-end hobby and the sort of the low end?
The great thing about what we're trying to do with this is we want everyone to be able to enter, right? So it's just about the love of the hobby and painting, So you can have your high-end painters, you can have people that are just very proud of a miniature they've done. We put it in. That's what we wanted it to be. When we're judging something like this, you're not necessarily always looking for the best technically painted miniature. You're sometimes looking for something that might evoke a reaction from you, an emotional reaction, like bring you suddenly into their world or whatever, some really cool thing. So we were quite surprised for the first one because, again, you said it's a tournament, right? And a really well-established tournament. And we weren't sure how many we'd get, but we were quite, our cabinets were relatively full for our first one. So we were very happy with that. I can't remember, I'd be lying if I told you the exact amount of entries, but we had more than we expected because we didn't know what to expect, and it was fun to, take them out and judge them, look at it, get to speak to the contestants too. Great.
You've technically, I suppose you've spent quite a number of years looking over Duncan's shoulder, metaphorically speaking.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
How is it then when you come to look at other people's work? Do you find that when you're watching somebody who is consistently painting at an exceptional level, do you have to take a step back almost and then think about how is this miniature being approached from another painter? Yes,
you do. I was very fortunate that when I worked at Games Workshop, we were right next to the photographic studio. So we'd see all the heavy metal the paint jobs come through and that for photography. But we'd also see like Golden Demon winners and things like that all pop through. So when they run the Golden Demon at the old games days, they would bring all the guys in for the weekend, whatever it was for the day, and then they bring all their miniatures in and we'd take photographs of them, or the guys would take the photographs of them. So you're always surrounded by really great looking miniatures, all different styles. But to try and differentiate yourself from, I'm so used to Duncan's style of painting and what he's trying to teach. You do have to kind of you've got to kind of look at it from a very different point of view. You've got to take, Roger the videographer away, put me judging miniatures. But we're also fortunate that on our academy, we have a painting challenge every month. So we get dozens and dozens of entries per one. So we select a theme, and then we just get all different kinds of entries from all people. So we just study those and look at them, and then make our decision from that. But yeah, you do have to try and differentiate, to try and move yourself away from it and look at it from a very different. And from me personally, I understand what the technical sides of painting are, high-end painting that, but when I'm judging, I'll try and see if it's given me an emotional reaction first. Like something grabs your attention, you'll see a miniature that will just grab your attention because it might be a great diorama, or it might be something that's just painted a little different. And you go, it just catches your eye, and you go, oh, what's that? And then you'll spend time studying it. Other times you see a miniature that's really crisp and clean, and that catches your eye, and like, wow, that's really sharp. You go and have a look at that, and you'll start to see the real details and how the technical skill behind painting that. And you can tell the difference between a a model that's taken 15 hours to one that's taken 150. You can definitely see.
And speaking of eye-catching, I know obviously there's a lot of different categories within the painting masters that people can apply for.
Yes.
Is there any in particular you're going to be fascinated to see what people bring with them? Is there a specific category you're going, well, I really want to see what people do with monsters, or even with something like board games, which are often thought of as a lower end or lower quality figure?
Yeah.
Miniatures.
Single miniatures are always exciting to see because that's ones where people spend a lot of time on. But I always find vehicles, believe it or not, are really challenging to do. Sometimes people don't always give them I wouldn't say the respect because they're so big to do. They've got lots of flat panels, but there's some people that can do some amazing things on vehicles. And they do because you've got the canvas, you maybe have a side panel of a Land Raider or something. They can really go and do some freehand art on there. And sometimes it's just like blows your mind what they can achieve, or on a Titan or something. So I always look forward to the vehicles. And I'm a big fan of fantasy monsters and things like that. And that's where you can really see them push, especially in blending on skin and glazing and stuff like that, because they've got a bigger area to do with it. I really enjoy that. So yeah, that's cool. I look forward to those two categories.
It always reminds me of the very early days of Golden Demon back in the late 80s and early 90s, because everything had to be on its own base, and most of the bases in those days were 25 mil. Banners became almost like sails on boats to try and draw the attention of potentially the judges. All of a sudden, here's this massive piece of artwork, free-handed artwork.
Absolutely.
And then you go, and then at the very bottom of it, there's a little harlequin is holding on to it or something like that. It's like a big neon, look at me, boss, look at me.
It is, yeah.
But because the painting competition is going to be open from day one, there's not going to be a queue of people wanting to get everything in the cabinet within the first 2 hours like you would get at Salute or at Games Day for Golden Demon. There's a bit more breathing space there. Does that mean you're going to have a more relaxed, stretched out version of your sort of judging, or will it still be within the last sort of day or few hours?
That's a very good and fair question. I think for me personally, I'll probably try and look on the last day to give everything a fair shot, right? Because I also don't want to look at something that turns up on the Friday, for instance, and then your reaction to it has already passed, so you might not give it fair judgment from the Sunday. So, I'll have a quick glance in and stuff like that, but I'm going to try and keep myself back to go and walk around with the other guys and make that decision that way. I feel for me personally, that's just a fair way for me to do it. Or else I might see something really cool, forget about it because I've seen something else, and it's not really, for me, I don't think that's fair, but I will probably try and reserve myself until Sunday. And then we just go into full blast, and really take a look at everything. So hopefully we have quite a few, we have quite a lot of entries, so we can kind of go through. It's always quite tough to have to go through first of all and do your first round of judging, and then say, all right, these are going to be your finalists, as it were, the next round, and then you've got to go and choose those, and then you can really start to look at them. And sometimes you have to look at the smallest detail. I mean, it can even come down to, is there a piece of grass tucked painted on the base? That could be something between winning a trophy and not. Just, as simple as that. Because the talent out there, amongst so many people, is just blows your mind. Like, it's incredible. It's just like, wow. How long did that take? You chat to them afterwards, and they're very happy that they've maybe won a trophy and that, and and then you go through the experience of painting the miniature or the squad or the vehicle or whatever, and you learn from it too. You might learn a new technique you've never seen before, which is always exciting.
I think that's the thing that's going to intrigue and interest me the most, beyond seeing the actual eye candy of all the entrants, is getting a chance to talk to the painters who will be there, the people who have submitted their entries, potentially new painters as well. I remember the first year a young lad from GW Belfast entered Golden Demon. The run-up to him putting it in, that figure was in and out of the store. He was looking for advice.
Wow.
And then when he came back, he made the first round cut, but didn't get any further. But off the back of that, being able to talk to the judges and go, why did I not guess, past, or what was preventing me from getting any further? And that, as they always say, feedback is a gift. And just picking up techniques and tips from people is always fantastic, especially when we're trying to introduce so many new people to the hobby as a whole. And with UKGE expanding the sort of the board game, the miniature war game side of things, and including board game painting as well, because a lot of board gamers who are hardcore don't care about painting their models.
No, it's a token, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's nice to see that the board game category has been entered in here to encourage them to pick up a brush and give it a try, because it doesn't matter how you paint your miniatures, as they always say, painted is better than bare plastic. And,
absolutely.
And I think this competition will hopefully show people that is an ideal that everybody can reach, that you don't need to be the best in the world, you just need to be good.
Absolutely. And the thing is, as well, when you look at, it's not board games these days, not just meeples anymore, is it? Wooden tokens. I mean, some of the sculpts from games like the Cthulhu Death May Die, or even Zombicide, and, the sculpts are just getting better and better and better. And they apart from the actual material they're made out of, which is often a soft plastic, if you take the actual sculpt and the imagination behind it and the technical detail in creating that sculpt, I say that they can rival a lot of the wargaming stuff. They're incredible. So we're expecting hopefully to see some really good stuff. I'm excited for that category because we have no idea.
Yeah. There's some weird and wacky stuff in the world of board gaming that
it sure is.
Who knows what's gonna be creeping in there? Possibly something designed by Adrian Smith, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, those are looking great, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're popping up on my feed all the time. It's like, oh man, look at those. We should get some of those.
Well, there you go, folks. Hopefully that's given you a little insight into what Roger's planning for judging at the Sir Coates Painting Masters. Hopefully we'll see you at UKGE. And if you're a painter of any caliber, please come along and join in.
Absolutely. Yeah, we hope to see you there.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.